Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Ivalon, and I am here with the man with the plan, the soothing voice that is smooth, Commander Leon Hart, and we are here bringing you a Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise speedrun race between four runners. In the top left, we have Smapety. In the top right, Dathis. In the bottom left, Solaris. And in the bottom right, Poorly Drawn Bees. This is going to be a 5-objective run where they have to complete any 3 of those objectives. That'll earn them the crystal, and then they can make their way to the big Z-Man himself.
Naming schemes. My goodness. Our restreamers, or restreamed racers, rather, are on top of it. We have Harry Potter in the upper right. We have Sephiroth's chant in the upper left. We have what we hope is not a prophecy that proves to be accurate here in the lower left. 17 out of 17.
Oh no. And Poorly Drawn Bee is not showing us what her naming scheme is, maybe keeping a surprise or just opting to go for the vanilla names, maybe some silly names. I didn't get to see it, but... And you know, I never thought about it, but Fusoya does look a lot like Dumbledore.
It's a valid choice. I can't argue with that. And Ron and Ginny should be the twins. Yeah, someone knows what they're up to. Snape is Cecil, though? Seriously?
Is it because he's like the bad guy and then he becomes the good guy? Is that the...
Well, we could start an entire discussion about the Snape redemption arc, quote unquote, that I have really strong feelings about, but this is for that.
Let's see here. Oh, man, they should have just named Snape Harry, because I'm seeing who Ginny is.
Harry Hermione. I mean, you know? Harry took Ron away.
Posmorphia.
Moving on. Flags.
Flags. You're right. Let's see. Other than, well, I guess we can still kind of stay on the topic of the naming conventions, because we will possibly be able to get to see every single one of these characters in the run. So we will be able to get to see each of these names at least one time, whether they're going to be joining the party or kicking them to the curb. That is, you know, of course, implying that they go for all of the different character spots and don't end up getting duplicates on accident or something like that. But we do have Witchburn, which I believe replaces the opening Mega Nuke from Wyvern with like some other random move.
Yes.
Except for, does it not do Big Bang, or does it do Big Bang?
I've heard from people that I consider reliable that they have witnessed a Wyvern Big Bang. I've had the pleasure. Charm is probably the worst thing I ever got hit with.
Charm, where it just like makes your entire party confused?
Yes.
Bottom tier is rating with a party of 7. Welcome to the Final Fantasy IV Monday Night Free Enterprise race. We're just getting it started. They just hit go, and we are now 15 seconds in after some initial loading stuffs. Let's see what they get for the starting supplies. Just some nice healing items and whatnot. Nothing too crazy there. And it looks like we have a Rydia and a Porum, I believe, is the start that we have.
And a Darkness Crystal for the key item. That's the big spice.
Yeah, so not only are we going to get what is essentially a free character by going to the moon immediately if they decide to do that, but if there are any free bosses on the moon that they can get some coffins with at a low level, then we might be able to see some interesting plays as well from there, because the key items are mixed in with the moon bosses, as well as the summoner, as well as the land of summon monsters, as plus Bahamut, I think. So yeah, all of the bosses in the by way of summons and moon monsters or moon bosses are going to be giving us some goodies.
They are the toughest bosses, so it's not a commonly made play early. That being said, if you make the gamble and it pays off, you can get a big head start.
Rydia picking up Titan on Mount Hobbs. That's a nice, interesting start there. And then on the left side of the screen, we have Smapety and Solaris making the dive into Baron very quickly just for some initial treasure hunting, finding a couple of good things, Change Rod and Crystal Gauntlets for a Cecil if you ever happen upon one.
Yeah, we're on T standard tonight, folks, which means that all treasure locations are just as likely to be good or terrible as any other, and they're not going to get higher than T5. If you want the good stuff, you're going to have to go find some trap chests or some key item checks that did not have.
Which means we will not be finding any crystal swords in any chests anytime soon. But that doesn't mean that we can't still find the best armor for Cecil, that being the crystal gear, which is about as high as the tiered items get for this flag set.
Crystal armor is great for cover strats, but it has the annoying property of preventing berserk. So, depending on
Yep.
whether your Cecil is on offense or defense, will determine if crystal armor is what you're after.
Yeah, unless the runners happen upon an Avenger's sword to bypass that immunity because that's tied to the weapon, not the character. But
Oh,
um,
yes.
that's about the only time that you're going to be able to see them deviate from that strat. Bacchus Wines aren't going to do nothing. Berserk Spell isn't going to do nothing. So definitely going to be looking for an Avenger sword if they find a Cecil or a Kane for that matter, because Avenger is a very good weapon on Kane as well.
Yes, no doubt about that. So we do have a quick check of the moon character with other people behind, but Dathis is there first.
Yep, everyone else looks like they're getting their lunar whale right now, getting ready to head up to the moon. Our moon character is a Cecil, so that crystal gauntlet might be coming into play sooner than we expect. Or not, but you know, he's there, so you might as well gear him up.
Sure. I mean, Cecil, once you can get through ordeals, Cecil is a terrific character. The armor, the defense of cover strats, and some incredible weapons if they can be found.
Yep. Not only that, but the ordeals check does involve 3 bosses, which means that if there is a Fusoya that we end up seeing on the moon, or not on the moon, but in this run as well, then that'll make it even more worth it to go on to ordeals, because not only are you getting the key item and the transformation of both Cecil and Tella, 2 very good characters, but you're also getting 3 sets of spells for Fusoya.
Yeah. Fusoya is a bit nuts if he starts the game at 1900 hit points and knowing all of his spells. So the normal behavior in this randomizer for him is to start him off with a very few of those spells and 500 hit points, and dole out a few spells and 100 hit points every time you knock out a boss. And it's a bit weighted, so you're more likely to get the big hits like Nuke and White later on than getting, say, your Lightning one and Fire one. But it's still randomized.
Yeah, it is very possible to get a Fusoya that just starts with something crazy like a bio or a quake or something like that. Just some really good mid-tier spell that's not an elemental spell. Although if you do find one early on and he ends up with a few utility spells that don't really have any use at the beginning of the game, then sometimes it's not quite worth it.
Well, that's true. And then you just have to resort to an old man beating people with his cane.
Yeah, and the Lunar Staff is one of the better staffs for offensively striking things. So it's not like it's the worst strategy for early in the game. Just put Fusoya in the front row because he's not back row glitched yet, and just let him go to town.
At this rate, Poorly Drawn Bees is going to be giving us our first key item check with the Antlion Nest. Dathis is doing some looting of Watery Pass. I believe I saw a lightsaber there.
Yep, there was definitely a lightsaber, and we also have a black belt gi as well, so that Cecil is going to be a very good frontline fighter if Dathis decides to make the trek to Ordeals.
Particularly for T standard, that's some nice loot out of the back of the
back of the Watery Pass. Yeah, that gave him some really good stuff.
Expect that kind of a thing out of a T Pro Watery Pass, but T standard, eh?
And he's making Dathis is doing all kinds of treasure checks right now, just heading to every place. And Smapety on the left side is going to be giving us our second party member. There's another lightsaber in the Damsian treasure trove, so that's a little bit more of a commonly checked area, which means Dathis is going to have the privilege of 2 lightsabers, while everyone else, if they do go check that, is only going to have the 1. Sid is up on Mount Hobbs being guarded by a plague, which is actually not too terrible at this spot because of the low HP. I think it's about 2k HP, something like that, so not too much to get through, especially with the Sid pickup. He eats through. He's going to be able to eat through that HP relatively quickly as soon as he gets put into the front row, or if he does.
Yeah, he does need to get out of the front row. Poorly Drawn Bees has found D-Lunars in Antline and fortunately is caught in the virus script that the D-Lunars switch over to when you hit them with a fight command.
Yeah, and
be problematic without the right J items.
Yeah, and the D-Lunars at that spot don't necessarily have that much HP. It's like a 700 HP spot, so that's 350 apiece, but that's still a lot for a team that doesn't really have too much burst damage. Gonna have to try to find a way to take him down slow, which is not exactly what you want for one of the first bosses that you fight.
Might work there. I didn't catch our starter kit flags, but as long as we have a kit, it probably has Cure 2 potions here. Yep, exactly, Awesome.
Yeah, it's got Cure 2 potions, it's got life potions, and I think it also had, it has some Star Veils and Thor Rages as well, so that's pretty nice. I think everything else that Smapty has off of his item list was just found from Treasure Trove, though. Or not Treasure Trove, but going treasure hunting, I should say. This plague fight is going to be taking a little bit of time. Solaris is making the trek down to Mist, still doing a little bit more treasure hunting, even more so than the other two runners. Finding a black robe for his troubles as well. That's a lot. That's a very good piece for the Rydia in the party. With a Palom, that is also a good item for Palom as well, but it's not going to be unless we get a Palom. That's not probably how that's going to get utilized.
Yeah, one of the changes the randomizer has made from the vanilla is to use the black robe as it was probably intended and have it boost wisdom by 5 instead of will, so that it actually helps the black mages for which it's named.
Yep. And there was another twin, I think, in the bed. It was either another twin or Yang, because all I saw was like some orange in the bed.
I missed it, not gonna lie.
So it could be so yeah, it could be a Palom, it could be a Quack Kid, or it could be a monk. So twin in the bed. All right, Sheep Launch, I'm gonna hold you. I'm gonna take you up on that. I'll take your word for that, I should say. I'll believe you with the Palom.
Death is found in Asura, an approaching plague from the other side of Hobbs, just before entering the fight. That's a nice find.
Yeah, Asura can do some really good things. Heals up the party well and can sometimes bring a couple people back to life in a very big pinch, but also sells for a lot of money if he decides not to keep this Rydia long term. So he might just hold on to that, see if it's worth it, and then give it to her later, which is a way to do it. We have Leviathan in the
Mist Cave.
Mist Cave, yeah, that's what it was. I was checking, I think, for the Mist Dragon, because the Mist Dragon does take over the spot of Edward's key item for the no free key items flag.
Yep. To get that out of the way before you forget about it. Nothing worse than running all over the place wondering, where is my hook? It's the only thing I need. And it turns out that Rydia's mom had it all along, and
all you had to do was go to the water
out in the waterfall.
Yeah. Sylph in the shop, that's also a good one
too.
This guy, he's trying to get there. It is. Solaris is procuring himself a Sylph summon, so Solaris is probably walking in. Oh, and Asura inside of the item shop as well, so this man looks like he's definitely going to keep Rydia in his party for as long as he possibly can, if not the whole time, which is, I guess, as long as he possibly can. Maybe gonna make some nice little some summon strats for the Z fight.
Well, Sylph does wonders. We can go on about Sylph.
Oh yeah, if
Out
the
of the
big
center spot first and foremost. But if you do, and it hits, you get your MP back, so it's basically
Yep.
free. It
That's
deals
I was just about to mention
mid-level.
that.
It does nice mid-level virus damage to a single target and distributes that amount of damage amongst your party in healing. And like all summons, it punches through walls.
It does look like we have a alt gauntlet on the beach, or is that?
I'm not sure.
Oh, the random encounters. Oh, the random encounters were turned on so that he could kill the Rydia. I think he's trying to.
He's dropping his Rydia.
Maybe.
Right. Okay. There we go.
It's
Now
either
he's gonna
slingshot
go after
strat
Plague.
or...
He wants to start Plague fight with one character on the ground, so that he can.
That makes sense.
Get a
That makes
count
sense.
reset.
I was wondering why, with all of
Might
these
as
good
well.
summons, somebody would want to keep Rydia as an agility anchor. But now that you're mentioning it, that does make a lot more sense than what I thought originally.
Yeah. I mean, some people are diehard Rydia Sylph fans, and some people are diehard Rydia. The only reason I won't yeet Rydia is because she's my anchor. So she's a very polarizing.
All right, we have Smape D clearing out those D Lunars, gonna get himself a tower key.
That is required for objective.
And Solaris on the bottom left to getting the tower key is almost on the exact second that Smape D did, but menu music's gonna keep him in there for a little bit before he can make his way out. Game Boy F9 is raiding with a party of 3. Welcome to the race. We currently have we're about 13 and a half minutes in, almost 14 minutes in. People are getting slowly but surely a couple of key items amassed. Currently, we're just trying to build up some parties and find some good items for our friends to use. Doing some early checks and things like that. So welcome to the race.
As the Rydia debate rages on in chat, Athos has reflected Plague's count, which will need to get through a couple more count cycles to make the kill, but this is one way to get around. Oh, hey, there we go.
Nice. Oh, but the Rydia did not get the Rydia didn't get any of the XP for that because
no,
it looks like Dathis is on hashtag team napping Rydia. So
Zerk, now I'm on that team. You know I'm on that team. You've seen me a dragon whip and a heroine robe, and I will go to town.
Oh man, Dragon Whip on Rydia. That's one of my favorite things to do early game is if you find a Dragon Whip in a chest early on during one of those like crazy flag sets. Find yourself a dragon robe, or not a dragon robe, a dragon whip and a heroine robe. Oh man, she goes to town even early game. She can two or three shot some of the early bosses. Oh, Conte in Fabul.
Nice. Leg day and poorly drawn bees has gotten the veil up on a character that doesn't have count, which means Plague is just going to sit here and continually try to apply the account and never succeed.
Yep, and it's going to continually reset that timer as well, so he's just going to keep on casting it until that fateful hammer swing sends him to the beyond, and Poyer John Bees gets herself a Sid.
And Smape choosing to go to Fabul, which is, again, another polarizing choice when routing. Some people will hit Fabul early, and some people like to save it and hope to at least go down Sylph Cave and get Sheila 1 knocked out at the same time.
Yeah, you don't typically want to double dip Fabul if you can help it, and it looks like Solaris is going to attempt to fade Fabul in an effort to come back to it once he gets the other key items, it seems like, because he's going straight for Mount Ordeals. Did everything else except for Fabul on the overworld, actually, aside from things that require key items. So maybe he'll find himself a Baron key and have to go down a rabbit hole, or he could find himself some underground access and have a bit of an easier time getting around.
Well, Hook, one half of objective 2 and 3 is the Fabul defense rewards. Don't fade it for too long, runners.
Unless, of course, you end up finding a magma key, and then we have both on the overworld. But the odds of that are crazy low.
Yeah, that's fine. But I mean, just it's attention. You can definitely go too hard, like fading Fabul and fading the Sylph Cave for the pan because you want to single dip the Sylph Cave. There's a fine line somewhere, and personally, I'm still working.
Yep, and they do need a lot of underground access, or not a lot of underground access, but they do need. I mean, actually, I guess they do because they need to complete the sealed cave, they need to complete the super cannon, and they need to return the pain to Yang's wife. So the hook is actually required for every single objective on this list. With
Unless you find a magma. Yes.
Yeah, if you find a magma key, you can complete 1, 4, and 5, but a hook gives you access to every single one.
Yes.
Especially rat tails and or I guess both of the tails are very quick objectives to get done. As soon as you find it, you don't even got to think about it. Just head back to the overworld. It's one quick jaunt over to Silvera, which it looks like Smimpty is doing right now, perhaps to get some more items. Finding a fire claw for a prospective monk that is currently not inside of the party, as well as a nice little middle sword for Edge. So, with Golbez being found as the second boss in Mount Ordeals, he's the back attack spot. So, getting a lot of things cleared out on the left side of the screen, just making sure that we understand exactly where everything is.
There is a certain irony in this boss setup. This is in the front attack on the bridge. Solaris faced off against the Baron guards, and one of his characters was left tiny, which is incredibly convenient because that takes priority over the paralyzed status that Golbez.
Yep. So you cannot be paralyzed. Well, you can't be afflicted with. Do hold and paralyzed do the same thing? Because I don't know if they actually. I think they don't. I'm pretty sure it's just all paralyzed. Oh, they do.
Yeah, I don't think there's a hold status per se. I think it's all paralyzed.
Dang. So you get.
Unfortunately.
Well, I guess paralyzed and stop. I guess paralyzed and stop might be different then. I know that there's some.
Yeah, maybe.
There's got to be some kind of distinction because black mages and white mages get the stop and hold spells. So. Unless they just both have a spell that does the same thing, which I guess is possible. But Solaris is getting that that Star Veil up before the level 3 spells, or not level 3 spells, but before the elemental spells get thrown back at him. All he needs to do is just hit Golbez one time with anything at this point, and it should knock him out.
And he knows the hit points of the location, waits until Golbez has dealt enough damage before queuing up the Dancing Dagger, and Golbez will crumble away and fall off the bridge.
Like all good Final Fantasy bosses, the guy that attacks you from the back melts. That's interesting.
Solaris will be giving a look at the tomb on Ordeals, and a key item that's worth all this trouble.
Yep. Also, I hadn't even noticed before, but apparently Sid is the person that's being guarded at the Baron Inn, so we're going to have a possibility of a couple of Hagrids in Dathus's Harry Potter group. Oh, Harry.
Maybe the Hagrids can help Luna with her summons.
Oh, Harry. Love that, man. Dathus is going to be making very quick work of the CPU because it's in the Baron Guard spot. So, hold is a distinct status from stop. They're effectively the same, but stop typically lasts longer and can't be removed by status healing items. Thank you, Dissatisfied. I hope I called that right. It looks like Dissatisfied.
We have Vanilla. We have Dark Knight Cecil at the end of Ordeals.
Yep, and funny enough, Solaris's Paladin Cecil, I think, is the only one that's not geared up with a lightsaber because he hasn't gone to Damcyan to get the what's it called? Oh no, he does have a lightsaber. Okay, so he did go to Damcyan. My mistake. I thought he hadn't gone yet because he didn't get the hovercraft, but I guess he just went for the treasure and then came back.
Yeah, Interesting. I mean, we don't know that the hovercraft will be required. Could get underground and knock out the sealed cave and the super cannon and the pan without ever touching either rat or pinktail, but seems very likely that we'll be using that hovercraft at some point.
Something about putting all your eggs in one basket.
Something.
Smapty's running into his Golbez fight as well, so it looks like Smapty is going to be acquiring the item from the top of ordeals as well. Going to get his paladin. Didn't seem to be anything on ordeals of note. No key items.
Just a glass helm. Path is found on the CPU.
The Magus Sisters, did he have I saw him use a Quake on the bottom right. Was that from an item? Did he find like a Gaia Wrath or no, Titan
Summon.
Huh. Titan and actually all summons for that matter go through Reflect, so I wonder what I guess the Magus Sisters do kind of do a lot of damage in that spot with the physical attacks because it's supposed to be where Yang is, so it's kind of punchy from Sandy in the back, but
yeah, and if I remember right, chat will quickly correct it, let us know. But it's one of those spots that follows the old randomizer rule of if the spot never uses magic, it has amazing magic.
Oh yeah, the magic stat is super high because it's never going to use it, so they just don't bother to lower it. And by they, I mean Square.
I'm looking at you, Bahamut.
Yeah. Man, but
physical.
getting Golbez at the Bahamut spot.
But still.
Getting Golbez at the Bahamut spot is crazy without Star Veils. Especially if it's needed to finish a run. That's all kinds of not good. Solaris is opting to use a self summon on Mindy in the front to try to see if he can get her down first, because Cindy will not resurrect anyone unless both sisters are dead besides Cindy.
No, Cindy is perfectly willing to resurrect one, but it takes a moment. She has to go wherever she had queued up and then move on.
Yeah, it will be a
break. It is still a welcome break from the biggest part of the offense, usually, for this trio.
Putting, I think those are mute arrows on the Porum, and then opting to continue using Sylph on Rydia. Rydia's not in the middle spot, so that Sylph isn't free any time that she uses it. Oh, it is? I thought it was only if she was in the middle spot. Or is it if she's not in the middle spot?
Middle spot is the only time it costs you something.
Oh, wow. That's a lot better than I thought it was then.
It is. It just means she can't be your anchor, but, you know.
Yeah, that's true. Who uses Rydia as an anchor? Oh my god. He did find a package, which is another party member. And another boss fight, which is a chance at a demist if one hasn't been found already.
Oh, Neobari, did you demist us at package? Did you?
It is entirely possible, but I don't foresee it. He's not even gonna go check. I think he's going straight to.
I might save and peek the character. I certainly would not check the boss. Not with these objectives.
Yeah. Doing a quick treasure stop at Silvera on Solaris' side. He's gonna find a nice ninja sword and some fire claws.
Especially given that these objectives, there's no way that demist can be hard required. It might be the quick magma underground, but even if it is, say, the pan, you can still beat the seed without ever touching it.
Yep, certainly can. Although with the way that Solaris' run is going right now, there were Starvils in Silvera. They weren't in the I thought it was weird that they were in the starting package because they're usually not. So I guess the Smapty must have gotten them from Silvera when he went to go do his treasure check.
Depends on the starting package. A lot of the packages will start you off with somewhere between 2 to 5.
Yeah. There were 4 that he had at one point, so that actually could have been from it, but he does have a, I believe, I didn't see what the sword was that he equipped. I think it was a fire sword, and he equipped a glass helm to the Cecil, so that Cecil's not going to be taking any physical damage anytime soon. That glass helm going to drop all the physical damage down to negligible numbers.
It's a beautiful piece of gear for Cecil cover strats, which makes it incredibly appropriate to have it in Mount Ordeals. And Berserk now has come up with a nightmare scenario in which the Demist is hard required. The chain. The pan leads to both Rat and Pinktail.
Oof. Yeah, that would make Demist required if it had the pan.
Hard required Demist.
That is also assuming that well, no, I guess it's not assuming anything, because in order to get the tails you would need the pan, so yeah, never mind.
Yeah, that
I was still, my mind was still on the package, because that was how we got to the topic of Demist in the first place. But the package is irrelevant. Doesn't matter where you find the Demist.
Yeah.
Although if the Demist was behind packaged with the pan that led to the tails, then package would be required, and that's just nightmare fuel.
Right. I mean, we can have a lot of fun with this chain if we Aaron key that allows for 2 different checks. Aaron key into Rat Tail and Earth. Earth leads to Harp. Harp is now required. Yay, required music. Harp is Pinktail. Not only is it required, but it's a long, long rabbit.
Yeah, it takes a lot more time, or it takes a lot of time, and it's a lot more effort than it's actually. Well, I mean, it's not more effort than it's worth, because you need to go through the effort, which makes it worth it, but it's still not fun.
No, it's not fun. But the only good news about such a big rabbit hole that's so wide encompassing is that
everyone has to do it
eventually, because you will clear all possibilities before too long.
And not only that, but you also know that if you have to do this, everyone else has to do it. So that makes you feel a lot. It makes you feel not nearly as bad if you find it later on.
While we've got a moment, this particular flag set, in case anyone was curious, was put into the Free Enterprise suggestion box by one of the community members. Sheep Launcher, I believe.
I actually don't know who did that, or who requested it. I mean,
I wouldn't have known if I wasn't hanging out in a different channel earlier today.
Oh, I see. Well, thank you for this interesting seed, because we have a hook at Fabul, and that's about all that we have on the overworld to get to the any of the other key items, because there's no Baron key yet, which means that we can't do Baron. There's no Twin Harp. There's no Adamant, or, well, no, because the Adamant and the Legend Sword you would need to get from Underground, but there's no Tails yet. So pretty much everything that you can do on the overworld is being blocked out by stuff in the underworld, because we just simply haven't found anything yet.
Yep, time will tell. It's been a slow overworld.
Granted that there is also the possibility that a lot of the overworld stuff gets blocked off by the moon, which would be incredibly big insult to injury there. But we do get to see who our Hook character is at long last. Maybe it's a vanilla edge to make use of these ninja swords we're finding, or it could be something else, maybe a cane.
And the joy of S Standard, once you get into a gated shop, you can start getting a hold of Tier 5. And Tier 5 item shops is where the good stuff is. You've got your Bacchuses, your Coffins, your Sirens, your Hourglass 2s. Solaris has found those Hourglass 2s in the Evelyn shop.
We did also find a Dragoon Spear, so if there's a cane, if you have quite the bit of money to spend, then you can get that cane very nicely equipped. Armor wasn't that decent, but the weapons and the items are definitely super worth the money.
And
these treasure chests are being very kind as well. Finding a Siren, some really nice J items. Found a couple of really good mage items for Rydia. Found a tiara and a rune ring, so those are gonna be very good for her. Another tiara. There's 2 tiaras and a ninja gi as well. So that's just a lot of good stuff in this underground or in this this pathway.
It all got shuffled too. Thank you for handling tracking. I've tracked 4 different people at once. It's rough. Good job. Keep it up. Niabari, thank you for handling the restream for 4 different people. I haven't done that. Thank you.
I haven't done it either. It sounds really tough though, because it's 4 people at once. Gonna get that. Solaris is doing my favorite part of any speedrun, which is menuing. Getting all kinds of inventory space freed up by equipping these characters with their empty slots.
Gaia robe. Okay, thank you, Wizard. I feel slightly like Gaia robe.
Yeah, you don't want to use Gaia gear on anybody. Hey, it is a cane.
And
my
there's
third eye.
That's not where you want to find Demist.
No, because what is funny though is that Demist just made himself required, or made herself, I guess, because it's the mom's dragon, made herself required because she's in Rubicante's spot, which is at the end of this, at the end of the Tower of Babel from this direction. So
which is on our hook route, yes. And as Possumorpheus is pointing out in chat, 25,000 hit points, and that Demist is going to cycle in and out of Mist Phase very quickly. That spot is not slow. It's not.
It almost makes it worth equipping the Gaia gear to get the wait. Is that lower agility? Never mind. I'm thinking of something totally different. What makes the Gaia gear bad?
The fact that it's unremarkable. It has slightly better defensive stats than Cloth, and it will protect you from the slow petrification of Valis's Ray.
That's right. It's the petrification protection.
Or evil
the lackluster stats.
Just slow petrify. It won't protect you from a hard, immediate.
Yeah, break is gonna get you immediately. But anything else, if it's like the gazes from the cockatrices or something like that, which you never run into in this seed unless an alt gauntlet has it.
Right, and if you let a cockatrice get off an attack, as far as I'm concerned, you get what's coming to you. I have no sympathy. Solaris taking ogres. Common move on a hook route. You want that extra XP, and maybe, just maybe, there's a shiny piece of loot to help you.
And he is getting good use out. He's getting good use out of those Bacchus wines as well. Putting one on Paladin Cecil there, who's just gonna start whacking away with that lightsaber. Like the true Jedi that he is.
Hourglasses. He's got a character waiting with a life potion to life glitch. Textbook Mad Ogre.
Yep, and that hourglass is going to last, I think, just long enough for him to complete this as well, because it lasts a long time, but a long time is about how long it takes to clear all these out with a level 1 Cecil, not a level 1 Cecil, but a very low-level Cecil using nothing but a lightsaber, so.
I mean, Cecil will get the job done. If he had Berserk or him, then maybe the hourglass would.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to get this done long before that hourglass is over, though, because it's only through about like half the time right now. Oh, Edward is at the package. What the heck?
Okay, so that's one half of Spoon Word. We can't have Spoon Adamant Word. We have no adamants, but the Spoon flag is on.
Yeah, so we can have a Spoony Bard. And we are getting confirmation from Paladin Aegis that Palom is in the bed. At Kaipo, I should say.
Good to know which particular twin it is. Is it a quack kid or is it a duplicate healer? Big difference. Just an apple, though, for fighting the Mad Ogres. Not ideal. Half a dozen another, whether you sell it for some easy gold or power up a weak character to get through some tough fights.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely foresee something like that for the Demist fight, because While Rubicante doesn't exactly have the best physical stat, his magic is definitely way higher. Doesn't mean that the Mist Dragon doesn't still, kick some butt at that spot.
Yeah, Cecil cover and a white mage that knows blink, and you're pretty much gold as far as that goes.
Just make sure you don't attack it while it's in the mist form. Otherwise,
No, don't do it.
Otherwise it's not gonna particularly. Yeah, you can have as many.
It won't
as many
hurt.
places you want.
It won't hurt. The real punishment and pain there is the time loss as you watch Cold Mist execute.
And then it also tells you not to attack while it's in mist form, and you have to go through another 2 menus.
Thankfully, I think they cut that out.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
I've never actually. I
don't do this. Warning! Do not fight.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever hit the Mist Dragon. Yeah.
They don't do it.
I don't think I've ever actually hit the Mist Dragon. Oh, that's a mom bomb. That's horrifying. I don't think I've ever hit it while it was in mist form during a randomizer before, so I actually don't know if it says that or not. I just assume because that's what it normally does.
I mean, I'm just saying there's been times I've wandered into a D-Mist with an Avenger equipped and said, you know what, whatever, let's just go.
I'll do it, fine. Finally getting that lightsaber equipped on Snape on Dathus' side for his Rubicante fight. This mom bomb fight on Solaris' side is not going well in the slightest. Everyone's dropping like flies.
This spot hits hard, does not mess around because, as we mentioned before, King Queen Evelyn don't use physical attacks, so get wrecked. Also,
yeah, so obviously they have to have the highest physical stat ever.
Right. Also, Mom Bomb attacking on a big hit point buffer to the already 9,000 hit points sitting at that location.
Yeah, so that puts it up to like what, 11k because of 2,000 extra.
I think it's more than 2, but whatever the number is, it ain't pretty.
It's a lot extra. The point is, it's a ton of hit points.
A mess is what we got here. I think it's, as Sheep Launcher says, it's sneaky diabolical.
Oh, it's 10k extra. I thought it was 2k extra.
Yeah, it's 10.
Jeez.
If you were to name your rude hook routes, you probably wouldn't say Mom Bomb D-Mist until you started getting well down the line. People like to think of things like Pogo Pogo and Kane Azo, or even a vanilla Rubicante, but Mom Bomb into D-Mist, it's not going to be pretty.
This is Mom Bomb and the Evelyn, King Queen Evelyn. Oh, you're saying Mom Bomb into D-Mist. Yeah, no, you're right. I misunderstood. That's my fault. I get you now. Oh, those bombs are hitting for 1k apiece. Oh, no. Oh, God, they're dropping like flies.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man. Let them win.
You just multiplied the number of attacks you were on the receiving end of by 6. And you better start cutting them down, because after a couple of turns, they're all...
Zeus Rage made to got...
Okay, we're through.
Yeah. He's golden.
Items save the day for Solaris.
Good thing that there were no... what's it called? Good thing that there was no EXP for that fight, because that would have all gone to
And Solaris does not want to do that fight again, even though D-Mist he probably is going to get through. He's going to make sure and save.
Give that glass hat to... Yup, giving it to the Ridia so that the D-Mist doesn't one-shot her so that she can keep using her Sylph summon. Silver Staff Zerg strats? Oh, because the D-Mist counts... Does the D-Mist count as a spirit? Is that what he's saying that? Because the Silver Staff does extra damage to spirits, right?
That's not what he's saying. So, and yes, someone should have a Silver Staff Possum, because Cecil comes equipped with it on the moon, so as long as it wasn't sold. If you use the Silver Staff as an item, it heals. That will remove the Zerk status. So what you do is you Zerk your person, let him go nuts on D-Mist while he's solid, and then when she turns into Mist, you quickly put a Silver Staff on your Zerker, so that you don't get triggered with Cold Mist.
Ah, that makes sense.
I don't think anything other than an Eidolon. Be honest, I think there's a version of the game in which D-Mist is a slime, but I don't think that's this version.
That sounds like a DS thing. I don't know why, but something's telling me it's
Sounds
a
like a
DS.
DS thing, doesn't it?
Because it's not the PSP version. That one has a bestiary and it tells you that it, exactly what it is, and it doesn't lie. But DS version, who knows, man? Kane crying is meta in that game.
Wait, what?
Yeah, because the augment system. After the twins leave your party, if you gave Porum an augment while the twins were in your party, she gives you the cry augment when the twins leave the party. So you can put the cry augment on Kane, and it's actually good. It's really good.
For all the heck I've heard about the DS version, you might get me. Just for some madness like that.
That being said, I really don't like the DS version. It's really hard for no reason.
Athos going after some Evelyn trap chests, going after the black cats and the Lamias.
Yep.
A good spot to dive into.
I mean the
behind him.
The trap treasures in Eblin do give some pretty good gear, and because it's free fights, it's more XP as well to prepare for whatever lies down in the depths of Eblin. So
yeah, and I don't know if Dathis has already seen the mist and exited out, or if this is just standard preparation for him, but either way, any bit of damage you can add on to your party for tearing through this route is going to be welcome.
and it looks like what Mad Ogre
Missed
fight
it.
is that? Oh, Smaked's also doing the trap chest at Eblin.
Yep. And I missed the reward over on Dathis' screen.
I think it was a poison axe because he didn't have that before. Oh, yeah, he did. It was the dwarf axe that I was thinking of that he didn't have before. Because I saw him equip it mid-fight, so I thought it was... I'm getting all kinds of confused with where people getting items from.
See, that's the joy of being up here on comms. If we miss it, we can just go, huh? What? No one's us to keep.
Yeah. Oh man, that lightsaber's gonna do work to those those soldiers.
Yes, yes, it is. Give me a holy sword against the undead.
Where was Kane found? Kudaloon.
Yeah,
Kane was
was
found
looking-
underground. He was found in Eblin on the hook during the hook route. Dissatisfied. Here's some more weird DS version knowledge that I happen to have. The Steam version is the same as the iOS version / Android version of the game. So it's actually a little bit easier than the DS version because the DS version has some minor differences for boss fights and attacks. Yeah, Berserk now, yeah.
Really want drawn bees, going for a different grind option. Heading with those up to the lunar subterrane.
Mute bells to stop them from
Warlocks.
casting because they can't.
Yeah. This shuts down pretty much their entire routine. Somewhere about 10 spells in, they'll bop you on the head once and then go back to their spell casting.
Yeah, their pattern is to just cast a whole bunch until they realize that it doesn't work. So they whack you with a stick, and then they think, well, that didn't work very much either.
Yeah. It'll take a little while to get through. Like, I think I saw a mute knife in someone's inventory, so...
There
Giving
is a... Poorly Drawn Bees, she does have herself a mute knife. I don't know who has it held right now. It might be the Rydia that's on the floor, but there is definitely a mute knife there.
Might be the cane. We'll see in a little bit. Hopefully. wants something going on here.
Yeah,
Was this a good?
hopefully he has it, because Mute Knife does crazy damage to these warlocks because they don't really have high physical defense to boot, and on top of that, they're mage type enemies, so double damage from the Mute Knife.
Odd damage, yeah.
And actually, if they're weak to, actually, never mind. I think it's just the mute that does that gives them the vulnerability. Oh, it does have a mute dagger. He's just not equipping it, or she does rather.
Yeah, mute dagger, like a lot of other weapons, will deal quadruple damage to anything that's mage type, and the warlocks definitely qualify.
If only there were a way to throw elementals.
Check in later.
Yeah, we'll come back to that when she's done. Dathus is gearing up his radio while Solaris and Smapty continue their Eblon shenanigans. So there's a lot of there's a little bit of a lull in the action right now as people sort of get prepared for what lies below.
Well, one of the ninja guards will remind you that hook seeds are the worst. Another one that's lying on the ground unconscious will comment that at least he's more useful than the ninjas in the after years. Seriously, folks, if you haven't talked to the NPCs in this randomizer, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Oh yeah, the NPCs in this randomizer say some hilarious things. I can't wait for when we actually finally get underground so we can talk to the Job Dwarf.
Yes, Job Dwarf is great.
And then there's if you go to one of the tutorial areas, all of the people there just say really funny things, or they say things regarding to the randomizer to like help you learn it a little bit, so it's kind of cool.
Yes. If you talk to the crystals in the Crystal Palace before diving into the LST, they'll give a brief explanation of agility anchoring.
Yes. So get you ready for that Z fight. Or I guess just for the moon in general, because you want to have someone slow in the middle spot when you're up on the moon so that the enemies move slower.
Early Bees has knocked out the warlocks and is moving on. Might be deciding to just look for a free fight on here, having gotten perhaps the hourglasses from Eblon. It's a bold move, and with as rude as this hook route is being, if there's a magma up here she can get a hold of, it could pay off.
Yeah, saving actually what she might also be doing is setting up a save slot here at the bottom of the lunar subterranean, so that she can just check those two bosses and the Ogopogo spot. If there's nothing there, reset to before she even came down, and then she can just walk back up after having completed the warlock fight. No problems. No questions asked.
Other options.
Smapty finding some stalemate inside of a pot where one of the trap chests happened to be.
You know, that was the last ship treasure I ever found in Eblin. And the only time I realized it actually had treasure in it was when I went through the whole cave and didn't find the stalemain, and I went, wait.
Nothing but samurai arrows, which is both good and bad in a sense.
They're nice, strong arrows, but still, you hope for.
Hey, fighting a Stardust, that's a good thing. Water Hag is a very free fight.
Yeah, that is what you want to see on the moon.
It is going to one-shot you no matter what, but if it gets off more than 2 hits, then one of your characters is a little bit too slow, or you missed, but...
Right, some people are not going to get XP from this fight, and that's just the way it's going to be. But
yeah,
get through.
Unless Porum gets off a lucky life spell, but I think she just had her cast slow on the Water Hag, so...
Yeah.
Oh, not gonna matter, because Porum just got dropped.
Ensure to get XP on that mage, though.
Yeah, you gotta make sure that Porum gets that XP, because a good white mage can save a run.
Yeah.
Getting 6 levels on Porum, gonna get a whole bunch of spells on that.
There we go. Even if nothing else, that's payment. But it's the ribbon room, and we spoon and an arty bow.
That makes the Edward from the package worth it.
Yeah, if Poorly Drawn Beast checks it. That Artemis bow, I like that. Orin
Yeah.
Bow's bizarre. You can give her that Artemis bow, give her a decent set of arrows, and Murder Child will be online.
Oh yeah, definitely. White mages with bows is oh, and the Artemis bow is also good for Sid as well. That's true.
Yeah, could also go to Sid instead of going to Murder Child. I have certain biases with my bows, but Sid is legit.
Asura is a weird one.
Asura's a bold play.
Asura is a very weird one because if you don't have wall, which it doesn't look like she does, if you don't have wall on a white mage, then you basically have to get 2 star veils, which takes a long time.
Getting the slow in before the veil bounces. Good move there.
Yep.
Not just the...
And no, the star veil is up.
It's also the hit points in this location relative to her damage. At least it's the White Spear altar. But still, there's the issue of actually tearing through her before the veil wears off and she heals herself. Not to mention...
the counterattacks aren't going to do too much damage. Oh, and as soon as I say something, Cecil gets decked for 12 punches.
Too much damage in the back row.
Yeah, too much damage. Yeah, if you're in the back row, yeah. I should have definitely made sure that I made my intentions clear with that one. Your mages are going to be fine. It's the frontliners you have to worry about. Yes. Solaris finally destroying D-Mist on the bottom left side of the screen.
Hey! Congratulations, Solaris. You're the first one underground.
Yeah.
Even that with how long it took you, but you are.
It was a war of attrition, and it turns out Solaris has a lot of manpower, so what do you know? Oh man, Cecil dealing mad damage with that mute knife. Hopefully he doesn't get deaded by Asura's counterattacks. Asura thankfully curing the Sid.
Sheep Launcher noting the Odin at the top of the tower. That is a spot with one of the weakest magic attacks in existence. There are probably some member of Solaris's parties that can survive the Odin attack at this point.
Yeah, and with Rydia getting some high level magic before you make your way up to that Odin, because you do need to check the tower. You have to destroy the super cannon, so you might as well. We also just got an Odin summon for Rydia too. That's kind of funny since we're talking about it. The Job Dwarf is a veterinarian technician, by the way. But with some high level magic on that Rydia, Odin becomes even more of a joke because even a lightning 2 can do a couple thousand damage to him.
Yeah. It's not a scary Odin at all. Poorly Drawn Bees, it looks like, is gonna get through this. Got a blink on Cecil, landing that 2k plus damage every swing. It's looking good.
Ooh, and she got a blink off on the Rydia as well. Not that the Rydia really needed it, but still.
Keep them alive.
The Rydia was low. The Rydia was low on HP, so I understand why she did it. She did it so that Rydia wouldn't get one tapped before the Sylph went off.
Yeah, and the Sylph is another nice source of damage that will cut through the wall. So.
Not only that, but it's also free healing. Who doesn't like free healing?
Damn, Sid. Have a punch to the face.
Asura is being the real MVP here, just curing all of Poorly Drawn Beast party members right before getting Mute Knife to the grave.
Well done, Poorly Drawn Bees. This moon dive continues to pay for you.
Yeah, Poorly Drawn Bees is making work on the moon. Oh, and receiving an Avenger Sword for her trouble. That's a very good reward.
That'd have been useful for the fight we just finished, but hey, you'll take an Avenger. Take
an Avenger Sword every time. And there's also like no more bosses where you don't need to worry about being berserked for them either, if I'm not mistaken. Because we got rid of Dark Knight Cecil. We got rid of Demon. Well, I guess Poorly Drawn Bees hasn't done Demus yet, but
wait, did we do CPU yet?
Yeah, we did CPU. CPU was in the Baron Inn.
Okay. And yeah, we might be safe.
So yeah, you can just keep Avenger on Kane or Cecil full time if you really wanted to, if you don't have any better weapons.
Which right now we don't.
Yep. I do, however, foresee a Avenger Sword being equipped mid-battle on that Cecil, because Poorly Drawn Bee's stuck the lightsaber on him, probably going to start Avengering up at the start of every fight if she can remember to menu. It's a Wyvern. What's he going to do?
What is the witch
Powder.
Powder?
No, everybody's blind. Oh my god, no.
Goodness.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Yo, if that wyvern casted pollen on me in real life, I'd probably actually die. That's the same thing as a mega nuke. Oh man.
I only have one thing to say about this witch burn, but it's best said in chat. There you go.
What color was the powder? It was like an orangish yellow, which is not good to see. Does blind even work in this game? That's a good question. Does blind even work in this game? I know that was an issue with the
literally nothing. Right, I'm thinking
in Final Fantasy 6 on the SNES, it does absolutely zero things. It just doesn't work. But I don't know if it's the same thing for I don't know if it's the same thing in this game. After that initial powder, after the initial powder, he did throw out the Mega Nuke, which did not deal quad 9s to him, so that was not he didn't die immediately.
The Mega Nuke Poorly Drawn Bees made happen, on purpose, I dare say, because 3 veils were up. Witchburn might turn off the initial Mega Nuke, but it doesn't turn off the Mega Nuke counter to summons. But
yeah.
Nuke afterwards hit Rydia, and Poorly Drawn Bees decided it's just not worth the time. We're going to deal with this later. And hopefully never. But if we have to, later.
Blind has always worked in funky ways, Ralphian. Because Charlock Butler actually just reminded me that in FF6, attacks target magic defense, not regular defense or evasion for that matter. There's so many. It's not that the status doesn't work. It's that the status targets works differently than you would think it would, which means that overall nothing particularly happens. Which is a much more long-winded way of saying it doesn't work that well. The Dark Elf in, I believe that's the Crystal Sword spot, or the Wyvern, the normal Wyvern spot, but or no, it's not. This is the I actually don't know who's here. Is this the White Dragon?
What, for Dark Elf? This is the Wyvern spot, I think.
Oh, this is the Wyvern spot? I shouldn't have second-guessed myself. I know what I'm talking about.
Hey, pan and pay march behind some dolls that are free with hourglasses.
Oh, man. That was a very good pan. And that means now that Solaris can do all of the pan-related things. So that's, what, 3 key items? Because you get 1 from the Sylphs, 1 from Sheila, and then 1 from Sheila again. So that's a good set of items there.
Always good to find that, and particularly with the objectives being so key item intense.
Yeah, definitely. We really don't want to have to complete the sealed cave, though.
No, anything but that, please.
If we can help it.
Solaris can already knock out 2 objectives at his leisure. Objective 4 and 5.
Looks like he's going to go for the Dark Elves in the, or the Dark Imps, I should say.
Sure. Also, hey, I have an Odin. Maybe it'll work. Well, not like that, it won't.
Unfortunately.
To work, Solaris, put Rydia in the center slot. You want that accuracy boost.
Poorly Drawn Bee is getting a white robe from that Dark Elf in the Wyvern spot. which is going to go straight onto the Porum.
And that Sorcerer Rogue can be handed off to Rydia. Looking good.
Yeah, if Poorly Drawn Bees has one thing over the other runners, it's definitely gear.
And levels.
And levels for that, yeah.
Is forced to take the hook route. Just the fact that she's gotten to the mid-30s might help her catch up with everyone else.
Oh, the fact that she's in the mid-30s means that she's going to rock this demist socks off, because everyone else, I think, is in the low 20s in this spot. Everyone else is anywhere from like 20 to 25.
And a Stardust Rod is going to be very nice in Rydia's hands, but probably not with Solaris had it.
15 extra wisdom ain't bad.
No, you don't hate it.
But you still don't want to, have to fight an entire lunar, or not a lunar, but an underground boss just for it to give you a Stardust Rod.
Yeah. We're happy to take it out with Odin. But yeah, Bees committing to the moon, going for the Murasame altar now.
Yeah. She healed up. She's going to keep getting herself levels so that even if she does have to go down to fight the Demist, having the key items is nice. Having levels is even nicer. Yes, dissatisfied. Solaris just got the pan from the Asura spot in the Land of Summon Monsters. We're going to check the pan.
Murasame. I mean, this will finish up your grind, that's for sure. But, ooh.
Is it an alt gauntlet on the moon?
Yes.
That's cool.
Murasame altar.
It's really cool, but it's also going to suck really hard.
We're going to have red giants. We're going to have King Ryus and Ging Ryus and all of that jazz. And at the end of the day, these will at least get a lot of XP. Hopefully there's an item. We love to see
Kane doesn't... Is Kane using a Dragoon Spear? Because he's going to need it.
I mean, a Dragoon Spear will be lovely here, but I don't think Bees has one.
We can... I'll be able to see if... Nope, it's the Blizzard Spear. Yeah, definitely not a... Yeah, that's unfortunate. We did see a Dragoon Spear, but I think it's in the shop that she hasn't gone to yet, which is the Eblon shop.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is going to be some pretty slow fights here. It is going to be a lot of XP though, because if I'm not mistaken, the alt gauntlet just doesn't give you like the XP from the boss area. It just gives you XP based on the enemies. So
yes, that's right. Which is sometimes nice if you get it in a no XP location. Depends on that.
Like if you get it at the tower spot, or not the tower spot, the ordeals.
Yeah, the ordeal spot. We've got got ourselves elements hanging out here in the cannon room, which whatever. Solaris is knocking down objective 4.
Yep, Solaris is just finishing up that objective, and oh, I'm gonna have to refresh stream now. It just buffered. Feels bad.
Solaris running a Penguinator special on this tower. Not even going to go all the way up to the top and deal with the Odin. Just says, I came for my objective. I'm going to take the key item. I'm going to run the pan checks and get objective 5. Maybe, just maybe, somewhere along the way, I'll get a rat or a pink tail and hit go mode. What I bother.
Yeah, and what's interesting now is that because of the sort of deviation between Poorly Drawn Bees and the rest of the runners is that not only is Solaris, he's going to get 2 key items after finishing that objective, but it's also showing us what all of the different bosses are in all these different locations. So it'd be a lot easier for us to tell exactly what everyone else is going to have to go through once Bees is done on the moon.
Power key reward incoming, and it is
Sand Ruby.
No, you're ahead of me.
Here. Oh, my bad.
Oh, you're good. Still made it.
The apprentice has said, "Here, have a palom." And Solaris looks like he's going to be making his way into the dwarf castle at this point. So
Maybe checking.
we have officially gone full deviation at this point because we have our top two runners both still fighting D-Mist. Solaris is messing around with the rest of the underground, and Poorly Drawn Bees is on the moon. So
I like the tiaras in the dwarven armor shop. Plus 10 to wisdom, solid defensive numbers, and dragon and lightning protection.
vampires in the shop would have been nice early on, but it's not to say that they can't still be good. I definitely wouldn't pay money for them though. So that item shop was altogether kind of, you know, you're liking the tiaras more than you're liking the items for the first time in a while.
Yeah, vampires are nice if you want some low-level Z-shrubs. But beyond that, yeah, it's a bit late in the game, as you say, for using them to get there.
I didn't know that you could use the Enterprise to break through the mountain. I thought you had to have the Interceptor.
Huh?
That's interesting.
Yeah, no, you can use the Enterprise. Don't think about it too
Not the Interceptor. What's it called? The Falcon. It's called the Falcon. Interceptor is Shadow's dog's name.
Interceptor is indeed Shadow's dog's name. Demas check for Solaris. Good job not forgetting it after all of those other things. Like
I know. I mean, after you fight Demas for so long, it's kind of hard to forget.
Rock!
We're gonna get to rate the treasury at some point, but not yet. Sheep launcher. Are we all not living in the world of ruin?
Eels. First ring just casually hanging out in the mist shop. Enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a very good item. It's a very good item for how much bad stuff it does. All right, we're gonna be turning in that pan, getting our fifth objective done, and if Sheila has one of the tails with her, then we're officially in go mode for Solaris.
Yes, indeed. Snape has made it through the demist and can start working on those underground checks.
Dathis getting done at basically the same time, a little bit slower, but still around the same time. And Bees has to go through a pair of gold dragons, which is actually probably the best fight for experience in the Lunar Subterrane.
You land the life glitch, it's going to be 90k. It'll be good. Adamant Iron Key from Sheila, so halfway to Excalibur and the best shop in the game. And 3 bosses and 2 key items. And a character. And Solaris will follow the change straight to Baron.
Yep, Baron's the place to go at this point in the game. It's super easy. Because, you know, in the vanilla game, you're around the time that everybody got the hook in this seed, so very early area, lots of easy enemies, or rather bosses, I should say.
And Snape D is going to start off with Dwarf Castle. I go for the bosses that Solaris messed up on, and we'll see if there's any value there, or it just could be doing some shopping.
That's 90,000 XP on Poorly Drawn Beast side, getting a lot of levels on those characters. Cecil, Sid, and Kane all have over 2,000 HP, which is exactly where you want them. And a Dragoon Spear for the Kane, so that's going to make future level grinding, if she even needs to do it, a bit of a breeze if she decides to come back to the Lunar Subterrane for it.
You know, what is it with people guarding the very thing that you could use to kill them? I swear.
It's like when you're playing one of those Please the Judge games and you draw a card that you know would have been great for that round specifically, but the round's over.
Oh yes.
Leviathan is that's Ogopogo.
It's Ogo. That's not nice. Noodle. It's Nope Noodle.
Yeah, it's the Nope Noodle, and that's in the Dwarf Castle, right? That's where the dolls would normally be.
Yes, and that's a rough spot for the It's a rough spot because you're likely coming through this week, and depending on who the set boss is in the second spot, this might not be good to be coming into it weak. A sheep launcher, please the judge, is any game like apples to apples. Exactly, Scott. Where you take turns deciding who gave the best card in answer to a card. It helps to know your very well.
There are all kinds of please the judge games, apples to apples, what do you meme, Cards Against Humanity, all that stuff. They're all please the judge games.
We're playing a free version of a please the judge game. It's good to know who eats Rydia and who keeps her.
Possum, that's why I was saying please the judge, because I don't know if I'm allowed to say that either.
Right? I mean, and yes, that is a vanilla homage.
The king,
Seed.
the king is pale dim this time, and also there's a Tella in the dwarf castle, which would have been nice a lot earlier. Oh god, no, the Cid. Oh, the Cid's gone. Been replaced by another old man. That's King and Queen Eblin in the Rubicon. Oh no, wait, who is that in the Queen Rubicon? I can't. I'm sorry. Dr. Luge is being replaced by Odin. There we go. Top of Tower is
Dr.
Odin.
Luge replaced by Odin. Top of Tower Odin.
Yeah.
We saw that when.
Yeah, we saw that when they came in. Yeah.
Yeah, the Zantetsuken's gonna be really sad here, and everything is fine.
Solaris is getting rid of the false king, who is a pale dragon. We got a Kainatsu fight in the Golbez spot, which is going to get taken down really quickly. We're going to get to find out what... Oh, there's a... Oh my god, that's a Rosa.
Hey.
Do it. Oh. Oh, he didn't take the equipment. He kept the character though. He took Rydia, ditched the Porum because you do want to see that. Rosa is infinitely better than Porum even at this level because she'll just get the EXP boost and jump right back up to the rest of the party's levels. So
Rosa is the long-term option without a doubt. You do get a nice early berserk, and you don't have to run the towers out to learn exit with Porum. And if you've got Palom around, you can twin early on. These are all early game considerations.
Although on Poorly Drawn B's side, if she ever ends up getting that Baron key somehow, she's probably not going to take that Rosa because her her Porum is already like level 50 almost. So ooh, that's a passive Bahamut.
He's fine. And having cleared out the entire moon, ending it with a pass, she will be leaving and never coming back.
Yep. Which is lucky for her, but I don't think she found anything else that was required on the moon, so...
No, she didn't. She did not even find anything that unlocked anything on Earth. It was a bold move, and it was a good grind, as it turned out. As far as progression, this moon is haunted.
Yeah.
Good point, Sheep Launcher. She did leave the Wyvern behind. Good point. So maybe not haunted after all. In the meantime, Solaris gets a hold of the tail and turns it in, and we have the crystal. That's a go mode.
And a Murasame for that still not found.
Okay, because why not? That's fair for your rat tail. Why not?
All those poor ninjas that aren't going to be found this game are rolling in their not being foundness. Because what this probably means is that there was like, there's probably like an edge in the Tower of Zot or something that's just never going to get a Murasame. The rat tail was from Dwarf Castle? I believe it was, yeah.
Yeah, and I think Legend Sword was on the Warp Glitch as well. At least I saw Smape D picking up the Legend, and I think that's how that happened.
Wait. No, rat tail was from Tower.
Okay.
Solaris didn't do Dwarf Castle.
Okay.
Or Baron Castle, I'm sorry.
That makes all kinds of
Baron
sense.
Key,
That's where we saw
Baron Key was... let me correct myself. Baron Key was from Tower. And then the rat tail was from the Baron Key.
Baron Key
Because
was from Sheila.
wait, what? Oh yeah.
I don't remember what top of tower had.
And he's taking the Palom. Wonder why. Oh, because he hasn't done his grind fight yet, so that's he could get the.
Palom's an amazing anchor. Palom has low enough agility growth and high enough wisdom growth that you can put Palom in the center spot, slap a curse string on him, level him to nuke, and keep the rest of your party at RA1 and still deal legit damage with those nukes to Zerones.
Yeah, especially with I don't know if Solaris got the Stardust Rod, but if he has the Stardust Rod equipped on Rydia, then I would definitely swap that over to the Quake Kid. He did get the Stardust Rod because never mind. I was about to say something wrong again. Stardust Rod is from somewhere that I want a different spot. Yeah.
A lot going on.
Yeah.
He's about to steamroll this book route. Athos is about to take out this free Fey March, or free-ish. Just get your hourglasses in. Snape D taking out the top of the tower. And Solaris out in front. I'm gonna go to the Giant of Babel with Tella. I think we have a D machine grind incoming.
Ah, he did get the Tella. That's right, because he swapped. Wait, Snape D got the Tella. Did both of them take Tella?
Right?
Yeah, Tella was in Dwarf Castle, but did both of them take him? Because I know Snape D swapped the Tella out, or swapped the Sid out for a Tella, and Solaris still has his Sid, so I don't know who he swapped out for that. If he even got the Tella. No, he didn't.
Oh, prepped with axes? Then this could be Mac Giant. Okay.
Mac Giant grind is still good.
No Tella and axes, Mac Giant makes sense. Well, you know, if you could just find the searcher in the first. But wait, no, because if it was Mac Giant, why are you running away? What are you up to, Solaris? Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah. Give us the good. Oh, we just want to talk. Oh, Smapety actually has an Odin summon for Rydia because Rydia grew up after Dwarf Castle, so she gets to get rid of Odin the canon way.
Well, that won't give you Odin. But yeah. Odin's good. That's how Solaris got through the Dark Imps as well.
Did I say Odin? I meant to say Ramu or Indra in this game.
Yes, Indra will definitely. That you will get out of.
She grew up, got Indra, used that to get rid of Odin. He might have run buffered on accident. That's a very good point.
Yeah. You know, some of us spent a lot of time doing a lot of siege where Can't Run was on, and you could run buffer random counters, and now that'll get you in trouble.
2 regular machines with the searcher is now what you want to see. The Mac Giant is just a searcher that spawns Mac Giants like the D machine, right?
Yes, lone searcher spawned Mac Giants.
Smapety has his pink tail, so that is not going to be an adamant armor. It's going to be some other kind of really good piece of equipment, but
it's also one of the objectives if you want to go that route for clearing out the seed.
That is true. Clearing out top of tower gives him an objective. On top of the pink tail is another objective. So all he has to do is find the pan on accident by killing one of the summon bosses in the Fey March, and then there you go.
Yep. And Smapety can avoid that Baron Key dive then. And another way through.
Dathis is about to get himself a pan right now from the Calbrennas in the Asura spot.
And that'll get objective 5 if he just follows it straight away, and if he follows the Baron Key, that'll 2. Solaris has apparently gotten tired of looking for the Mac Giant in the giant and is going to set up the Baron Manip. This is something the community developed that was a necessity when Can't Run was on. But it can still be used nowadays to set up encounters if you prefer that way.
Yeah, utilizing some RNG manipulation based on the encounter that you get on the overworld will carry over to when you exit the overworld and go to other areas, and you can use it to do all kinds of weird manipulations, like forcing a D-Machine grind, which was super helpful during the tournament in Highway to the Threema Zone, because you saw it pretty much every league set.
Yeah. They all learn
How it works exactly, I couldn't tell you. All I know is it's based off of step counts and encounters that you get on specific steps. That's about it.
That's pretty much it. Because, especially for a small cartridge like an SNES, random is not truly random. There's 255 different encounter tables, if you will, patterns of encounters. And if you walk through a few encounters, which are a new one's reloaded every time you reset the game, you can figure out which one of the 255 you are, and therefore how many more fights until your grind in question, the fight you're looking for, comes up.
And once you reset the first thing that you fight, that basically tells you straight away what encounter stage you're on.
Most of the time, the number of steps before you get your first encounter will tell you. Sometimes you might need a second fight. Sometimes it might depend on what the fight is. There's a chart pinned to the Free Enterprise Discord that breaks it down fully. But those are the basics.
It's all kinds of nuanced eccentricities that SNES games have to offer.
You see it working in fine style for Solaris. Goes into the giant, finds that lone searcher on the first go.
And if you did the manipulation correctly, it will spawn a Mac Giant and nothing else. There it is.
Lone searcher. With lone searcher, there's no doubt. It will be a Mac Giant. There's always that moment with the searcher and the two beamers. Beamers, that's the word. Did I get this? Will it be D-Machine? Or will it be the dreaded Horseman?
Yeah, that's always the worst when you're trying to set up for a very specific fight.
It really is. Athos wants nothing to do with the Paladin. He's happy with his party.
So that's what we got going on the bottom left there. Solaris is probably going to be doing this for however many fights he decides, or however many Mac Giants he decides he needs to remove, and then once he's done with that, yeah, it's gonna be a long time, because it doesn't take it's not necessarily, like, I shouldn't say a long time like it's gonna take him hours, but it's definitely a little bit longer than the D-Machine grind. And the Mac Giants, even though they do have less health, they still require a little bit of setup to kill via making sure you hit them with the stop spell so that they don't just annihilate your party.
Yeah, could also just go Cecil cover maybe and not worry about it. We'll see what Solaris does.
Yeah, he gave he's covering Rydia with Cecil so that Rydia doesn't get hit, because Rydia is the only person that he really needs to live. He can use life potions on anybody else if he needs to.
In the meantime, Solaris has completed Objective 3, trading in the Pink Tail and receiving a lovely Bahamut summon in return.
Bahamut summon, I guess, is a way to nerf Big Bangs if you really want to go that route, but nukes are way better. I wouldn't recommend it either.
And with a pan turn in, that is Objective 5 for Dathis, and a Crystal, our second runner in go mode.
Any moment now, those two objectives are going to light up on the screen, and then we will be fully set up on Dathis' side. Dathis in go mode, and Smapedy and Poorly Drawn Bees both, I think, coming up on it.
If Bees makes the right play, she is still very much in this. She's done her grind and she has pass in hand. And the chain to get to the items, if you follow an ideal path, isn't that bad. Very doable. You already got the tower key, pick up the pan, and then you could, Pinktail's probably the fastest at top of tower.
Yeah, and I mean, she has to get rid of the super cannon. So as long as she just does the normal thing of going through the underground, with the pan. If she does the land of summon monsters, gets the pan, goes to Sylph to give the pan back to Yang's wife, and then does cannon, then that's a way to do it. And that's probably the way that she's going to do it, if I had to guess. And my guess game has been pretty okay. So we'll see if the commentator's blessing instead of curse reaches her ears somehow.
Let's hope. Dathis also looks to be up for Mac Giant Grind. Cecil, or Sid and Kane, excuse me, rather, have some access to grind.
Warp glitching to get her key item. He's grabbing the pan. Oh, I guess the Legend Sword's not necessarily a key item, is it? No, it is, because, yeah, it is. The spoon is the only one no, the pass doesn't count as a key item. Everything else does.
Pass is the one thing on the tracker that does not count.
So Legend Sword from the Warp Glitch, and then Zeus Gauntlet from the King. Which is going straight onto Kane.
Oh. Reminder, these Forerunners are not the only Forerunners in this race. They're just the ones that are restreamed. In fact, one of our off-stream runners has completed in first place.
Who is it?
With 1 hour, 25 minutes, and 17 seconds. GG.
Good job, PK. You did it. I wonder how he completed it. I mean, I guess, actually, you know what?
He did everything that Dathis did fast.
Well, I was gonna say what probably happened is he probably didn't take as long fighting Demas as everyone else did, and by everyone else I mean the three on the left and top right, because Poorly Drawn Bees got rid of Demas super fast. She just had to go through the moon to do it.
And I've seen PK Silverstaff strat a Demas before, so I wouldn't be surprised in the least if that's what he did to get through the hook route.
So maybe he's going to claim his Earth Crystal. Dathis is going to set up for his grind fight. Finding a group of 4 imps in the desert. I don't know what that means for him.
Just doing the manip. There's been discussion in chat now that we have in Discord, excuse me. Now that we have the can't runs as to what's the better way to go about the grind. And last I checked, the prevailing wisdom was if you want a Mac Giant, you're better off doing the Baron Manip tables, most likely. So that is what's happening here.
Oh, looks like Dathis got the fight that he wanted because he ran away, didn't reset out of it. Now he's going to the giant. So as long as he remembers to turn off those random encounters once he gets up there, then he'll be able to get into the right room.
They want to make sure that goes right.
Because the Mac Giants only show up in the same room as the D machines, if I'm not mistaken. It's just a different manipulation for it.
One room prior.
One room prior? That makes sense.
Right, my mistake. No, 2 rooms prior. This is the chest. Next room is the stomach, and then the passage is where the save point and the D machines are.
Oh. Huh. Yeah, that actually, no, that all right, that makes sense. Because I was like, I thought you couldn't get random encounters in there because it's the boss, but you can get encounters leading up to the boss as long as you just don't fight it.
Bees doing
Oh,
good play.
he's got a few people with some. Deathis has a few people that have some pretty good items. 3 capable frontline fighters. Misjudging the HP on the Mac Giant does hurt a little bit, but that's only going to slow it down by maybe like 5-ish seconds. So,
and Athos is going to put Blink on Cecil, so should be
hopefully that white mage will not be getting attacked anymore from anything anytime soon. Oh, you don't like to see that though. Missing with the
this
lightly damaged attack.
So Bees is gonna get the paint tail from this, but might not be pulled up above ground for it just yet. On its own, it doesn't lead to anything else other than loot. So she's got to know she needs to uncover some other check, and while she's down here, hopefully she makes her way to the Fey March. Freebie won't be what she's looking for, but if she knocks out the pan fight, she can be quickly on her way.
Yep, and she does have the pass, and Solaris is going to have to make his walk down, which is going to take about... it's going to take poorly drawn bees probably about half the time it's going to take Solaris to get to the bottom of Babil, so she's got herself a good few-ish minutes to make her way through all of those different checks, and then she can go straight in there, and we might see them a little neck and neck on the Z fight if everything goes perfectly. Solaris is done with his grind fight, but I didn't see how many levels he got on people too, so that is another factor. If his characters are higher level than Bees, then his Z fight will probably be over quicker.
Making that long walk down as Bees exits the tower.
We have Smapty going in to turn in his pink tail, so he's gonna get the item from that as well as the crystal. And then if he starts, I don't know if he's gonna. Did he already do his grind fight? Did he do it while everyone? I don't think so.
Think he did?
He might have. Getting the Bahamut summon. Because Dathis is in the middle of his. Drawn Bees did hers on the moon. Solaris just finished his, and he made his way to the lunar subterrane. I guess we will see in just a second. That is a level 64 Palom.
Slingshot is a wonderful thing. And yes, Happy the Bunny passes at Cave Valley.
Yep. 63 Rosa too. Oh my god, the slingshotting.
Mm-hmm.
That's like vanilla levels for the Z fight.
And Smape D was not done with the grind. I'm gonna go take care of it now.
Yep. We're getting all kinds of Z flags in the chat. What's that about, Commander Leonhardt?
Well, what that's about is that it's time for us to ask a question. And that question is, whose
what are we going to pick tonight? It was an attempt. I wanted to see if we could do it at the same time. Thought it'd be cool.
It was close. It was a good
timings are off. It's all right.
Oh. The Zeroma script, we all know it by now. We know the fight. It just happens here. The one thing we do randomize is the sprite. I believe we are now at least over 470 different sprites that have been put into the randomizer, most of which by our amazing art dev, Scala Kitty. It might be to 480 now. Wouldn't surprise me. Once the crystal
something like that.
Right. Once the crystal transform hits, we'll see what the sprite is.
Shake is happening before the crystal goes off.
Run a scene earlier today where the Z sprite was the Death Star, And the music was the Rebel Army theme from FF2. It's very appropriate.
All right, so Z Sprite. Oh, it's the reset button. Run's dead, I guess.
I know a few people that are triggered right now. Let's just say that if you map reset to one of the buttons on your controller, and if you map exclamation done to another button on your controller, then you better hit the right button when you beat Z.
Oh yeah, I can't. I'm so glad I used my keyboard for that stuff. Oh, never map hotkeys to your controllers unless it's fast forward, but also don't map it to fast forward during a run because that's cheating. Jiva Zero is raiding with a party of 3. Welcome to the tail end of the run. All of our runners are either doing grind fights or making their way to Z, with the exception of Poorly Drawn Bees, who is getting the last of the key items, and then she'll be passing her way to Z. So that's what's going on in this run.
EMP's report on these. Herring.
Oh, Smapty actually gets to do the D Machine grind because he has a Tella.
Yes, Tella. Sure. And congratulations on knocking down second place, Jeeves. Well done.
Oh, that Rose's HP is beautiful, Marikaze. Or Marikaze. Probably Marikaze.
That's what happened. You put 60 some odd levels on her.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That Rosa has almost as much HP as the Cecil because of how many levels she got over him.
Yeah.
Step to step. Oh, is that a crack flash burn on Solaris' screen?
It is. That's a crumble. No flash because good people don't.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It is a crumble.
Cool, dude. Turn off.
This is our first restreamed runner, and overall 4th place. Time of 1:38:46. GG. We'll see if he would like to join us for an interview.
That was a pretty quick fight, because of the incredibly leveled Rydia, or incredibly leveled Palom and Rosa. Sit in the center with what I'm assuming is a cursed ring makes Romus a very slow boy, so that's just a lot of damage. I think he skipped rocks falling too, so that was just a good fight all around.
Not surprise me.
Welcome, Solaris, and congratulations.
Hello, thank you.
You are the first person on stream to finish the run, and I believe the 4th person out of the entire thing. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think anybody else got done it before you did, so.
Oh, very well done.
Thank you.
Oh,
yeah, I'm
that Rosa hit points.
I might have overleveled a little bit. Rosa Rydia needs 31 of those Mac Giants, around her level, and I wasn't exactly sure, so I was like, you know what, I'll do one more. It was 17 total. It was 1 million experience. I probably didn't need it, but my mindset this entire run was to at least try to be consistent, because the one thing I didn't want to do, especially in Restream, is get really stuck or not be able to finish. So that was really the primary objective for me.
That's more than fair. It was a little interesting. at the beginning, not much happening overground, very little in the way of key items. You quickly find you have to run a hook route. You get the bad you missed, and then you walk up to it and get the really bad news. How did that feel?
So I knew it would take a while. I didn't quite realize it would take absolutely forever. Like forever. Like while I was doing it, I had two thoughts. I was like, I'm on battle speed 3. I probably could be on 2 or even 1. It punches, but not really that hard, especially with a glass hat on Rydia and Cecil having okayish armor. Just to kind of cycle through it faster, even if it would punch a little bit more often. The second thought was there were a couple of weapons I could have picked up. I knew where they were. I knew where an Earth Hammer was. I knew where an Ogre Axe was to at least have a little bit more damage, or maybe open some trap chests. But once I was there, I was like, well, you know what? We're here. This might take a while, and it certainly did.
I mean, neglecting the backtracking did get you first amongst the other restreamed runners, so is perhaps the right play to just go with it.
Yeah, you know, after I was done with it, I was like, oh my god, this took so long. You know what? I'm just gonna. I feel behind, but I'm not gonna play like I'm behind. I'm just gonna, you know, continue.
You fought the 100 Years War with D-Mist, man.
I sure did. I don't know how long it was. It felt like 10 or 15 minutes.
There was a Tella that you forgot, or that you had decided to forego in Dwarf Castle. Were you like planning on doing the Mac Giant grind from like the moment that you realized that you didn't have a Tella, or were you kind of like kicking yourself for not taking it after you realized that you needed the week for like the grind fight, or like what was the idea there?
So I went to Baron after I kind of did my remaining freebies, because that was also character check, and I was like, well, I hope I get a weak caster. If not, I hope I somehow get 10 key items, because if this doesn't have a key item, I guess if it didn't have a key item, it wasn't going to be a go mode anyways. So at that point, I was just like, at 10 key items, Mac Giants is actually not that bad. Even though doing the manipulation, there was like a 25% chance the counter I hit was a failure, and it was a failure. So I was like, you know what? I think Baron doing it that like table flag way might actually be faster, at least for me. So that's why I did that. But yeah, I was fine with Mac Giants with 10 key items. I only needed 15, and even then I was like, probably could do less and do some sort of hybrid thing, but I don't know.
Yeah, ended up working out in the long run because that Mag Giant grind gave you a level 60 plus Rosa and Palom. So
yeah. Again, power overwhelming, I suppose.
You know, that is not a bad way to approach Azifa.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing I could have done, vampires and cure 3s were available. I don't know low-level strats. I didn't want to do it.
No, that's fair. Like, low-level strats take a while, and even if you're an ace with them and know them cold, if you've got a solid grind, it's still probably better.
Yeah.
Although there was an Edwards somewhere in there. I don't know. I forget exactly where. I think it was in the package. Yeah, it was in the package. Yeah. So like that could have been pretty funny.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No. I was actually thinking at the package. I was like, what if that was Tella or Fu? Is that even faster somehow? I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna worry about it.
No, it was just an Edward, and the spoon was hanging out up on the moon in the ribbon altar room behind a water rack.
Yeah. So that was not gonna happen.
It could have been a possibility for Bees, but she, I think, backed out of the Edward play, so.
It'll be interesting to see, because of this flag set, how other runners finished. PK finished, like, well ahead of us, like 10 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty curious about how that happened.
I wish I knew, too. Dath is just finished
PK, but yeah.
While we're chatting it up here, Dath has just finished his Z fight as well. So we have 2 restream runners done.
Hoek was third off screen, and I don't know who was.
I think Solaris was. I want to say Solaris was 4th.
Yeah, Solaris
was 4th. Second was, I'm looking, Jeebus. Jeebus was second.
That explains the raid.
Oh, Flurry was 5th,
And that explains the raid. Yep.
which is why he's rating us right now. So you guys already know what's up with Flurry.
And before we let you go, Solaris, thank you for agreeing to be restreamed. And any last thoughts?
No, that was a fun one. I like the idea of, like many different ways to find Go mode. I'm just glad that if I had less than 10 key items and I found Go mode, I was like, am I going to be in the grind for 10 years? I hope not. So I'm glad it worked out. Thank you so much for, comms, restream, tracking. The show, of course, wouldn't happen without the team, and it's very appreciated. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for putting on a great show with fighting Demas for a very long time and getting getting a level 63 Rosa or something crazy.
I'm here. I'm here to serve. Really high level Rosa. All right. Anyway, I'll duck out then. Thanks so much, guys. Bye now.
Take care. Have a good night.
For being streamed. At the second to finish on the restream and 6th overall. GG's.
Hello, thank you. Yes, it was a heck of a run.
So,
That was a heck of a run.
Yeah, as I asked Solaris before you about the starting of the seed, pretty light beginning, some decent characters, not too many key items. Figure out early on you've got to run a hook route. You get the bad news of the demist. You make it up there and get the worst news of the mom bomb. How did that make you feel?
Honestly, considering everything that Cecil had, and I was just like, oh, so we're starting the Cecil wall strat a little early, are we? Fine. We'll just get that going right here, right now. Plus the many hourglasses that we were able to buy. Just the entire thing was a bit of a farce of a fight. Is getting to the second phase was the bit of the problem.
Yeah, it's a lot of HP to cut through there.
Normally 6k, added mom bomb gives it 16k.
Something like that. It's rough. And another 25 for a demist.
Yeah.
Oh, that Demas fight. What was it? 10, 12 minutes I spent, I think, in that fight?
The war of attrition.
Oh, there was no war, but yeah, the attrition was between it and my sanity. And we're gonna get some music right now.
This sounds like a demist fight. You're giving us music. Yay, music.
Ooh.
I am always a big fan of Final Fantasy VII.
No, given the fight we just discussed, this title, Still More Fighting.
Still more fighting.
I mean...
Mom Bomb and King Queen Evelyn. Oh, this can't get any worse. Still more fighting with Diva? Wow!
With Dark Knight Cecil out of the way, I'm like, man, there's really not much I kind of fear at King Queen Evelyn. Maybe an evil wall. That's not fun.
Yeah.
Mom. Why? Stop giving me auto with that or fight-based enemies, please.
Your final party didn't have a Tella in it, and there was a Tella in Dwarf Castle. So were you like, did you just like say screw it to the Tella because you didn't want to do the D machine, or did you think that you would be able to get the like?
So I kind of knew with the double poison axe and with a cane, Mac Giant was very viable. And again, Cecil doing Cecil things. Mac Giant's very viable on these flags. So it's like, absolutely. I thought about so my thought was like, I could check Dwarf Cast to get another key item because I think I was sitting at 9, but I think I saw 10 at the end. So I'm like, all right, so I guess I missed one. So I was thinking if I get Edge, I could steal some Sirens or something like that. And like, or if I find a Tell, I can just do a D machine. I'm like, you know what? Let's just take what we got. Let's just Mac Giant, do a quick little minute, go up, and then just end the seed. We're done here.
Yep. And now we're listening to Final Fantasy VII music, so
Exactly.
all in all, it worked out very well.
Also, that grind went exactly as expected. I absolutely intended on keeping Sid alive and not really at all whatsoever. Nope. Perfectly, perfectly executed.
I won't tell if you won't tell.
Well,
No,
was there anything about the run that was like that you feel like you should remark on that wasn't the slow overworld? Because like the overworld was pretty slow, but what about the rest of the seed?
The fact that it was about 20 minutes from underground to go mode.
Yeah.
Freedom. The freedom of the underworld is basically the title of what this seed should have been. Here's some hourglasses. Here's 2 bosses that have gating key items and 3 boss. Oh, and by the way, here's the joke of the Odin spot. Enjoy your over. What was in Dwarf Castle, by the way? I never saw.
Was in Dwarf Castle? That's a great question. I forgot.
Legend Sword was the warp glitch, and I think someone in chat said Zeus Gauntlet was the main handoff, but I missed.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was a Zeus Gauntlet.
What
from
about
Dwarf.
I meant boss wise. So I want to know how free that underground.
Oh,
I'll
the
go
bosses.
into
Oh, it was definitely Oga Pogo and then
We'll go into
Kainatsu.
Kainatsu. Yeah.
Not free, but not exactly tough locations for those guys. They'll call it the freedom of the underground then.
That's fair. There's also the Haunted Moon, unless Wyvern had something.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Used to that. But you can hear all about that in a little bit.
I can.
Yeah, because pretty drawn bees. Oh,
Yeah,
that's so wholesome. Poorly drawn bees is I guess poorly drawn bees are wholesome too because that's pretty freaking. But she just got finished with her Z fight as well,
Nice.
clocking in at 1:52 and 10 seconds. So
Not bad considering the seed.
I'm thinking everybody on stream is gonna finish sub 2 hours, which is very good.
Ooh, that's very, very nice. Anyways, speaking of streams, you guys rock. I'm excited to hear the commentary back later on. Thanks very much for doing the commentary, Neobari, for doing our restreaming, because that is the heart and soul as much as you guys keep everything rolling here. And who did we have for our tracker? Because I see
Their name is Aegis.
Aegis. GG on tracking. Again, thanks for having the run, guys. We'll see you guys probably for the salty run back on Friday.
There you go. Look. And look forward to drawn bees.
Hello, bees.
Hey!
So,
Hi.
first of all,
Yes.
I would like to congratulate you
Thank you.
on your bold moon play that with a ton of experience and completely bypassed a grind, and I think it's very unfair that moon was as haunted as it was.
Yeah, that you did all of the moon. You cleared that moon out with exception of the wyvern that was in the, or with the exception of the wyvern spot, I should say.
Nobody
Yeah.
wants that.
I really didn't want to fight D, Mr. Rubicante.
I don't blame you.
I feel like my choice was easier in most regards.
Oh yeah, and like you finished right in around the same time as the other people, because that took a lot longer to deal with that Mom Bomb and D-Mist and some of the other underground fights, and you were just able to put the pedal down and steamroll.
Yeah, if I hadn't completely whiffed the first 10 minutes of that run, I probably would have done great. yeah. The race started, and then I saw the Darkness Crystal, and I still had half a cup of coffee, so I was like, I'm just gonna play that cutscene while I finish this.
Oh no.
And then so that was one of my routing decisions. And then I was way too stubborn about D-Lunars, which was my one big regret of my routing. Yeah, barreling through D-Mist, barreling through that Ogopogo at Dwarf 1, like, I'm kind of happy.
Yeah, it's a bit of a rude castle, to be sure.
Also, rushing the moon at level 25 is always the most fun thing.
It is. You had chat back, watch the VOD, and just.
Oh, they were going nuts.
Going, go, Emily, get it! Go, poorly drummies! You got this! You got this!
I love every single time on my restream. It's like I do some like hype boss fight, but then my routing goes all wrong, and I wind up in a low rank anyway.
It's so sad because it's like you go out of your way and it's like, oh, I'm gonna do the different thing and it's gonna play out, and then it doesn't. You're like, no, why?
Yep. At least I have my equipment though, and wow, I was so happy to see those apples at Forge. Like I was just going to get Excalibur, but then it was like, hey, Borum can get enough HP, and it turned out to be exactly the amount she needed.
Yeah, because I saw that there was like a single unnerfed Big Bang, and then someone was just like hanging on by a thread, and it was because of those apples.
Yep, 23 HP left on Porum when she got that last Cure 4 off, and barely dodged that meteor, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was due for a little luck there.
It looks like we got Smapety finishing at a very nice symmetrical time of 1 hour 55 minutes 44 seconds.
Wow, that's beautiful. All right, I'll hop off and let him on then.
All right, you have a good one. Have a good night, bees.
Yep. Thank you for being restreamed and for joining us.
And thank you for having me. Have a great night, everyone.
You too.
All right, we got our final restream runner in here, Smapety, D-Mist at Rubicante's spot.
Yeah, that's a slog.
With Mom Bomb right before our final restream runner.
Didn't like that, but I mean, I knew I could get through it just because with Cecil cover strats and nobody does anything other than physical attack, and they got a glass helm for Cecil at that point, so I wasn't concerned about surviving it. It's just the dealing enough damage to get through it. I was just timing Titans on Rydia to get through when the mist phase was down, and I know I faffed around way too much on the overworld before then because I just was not confident in the damage output my team could do, so probably wasted a bunch of time there.
You must still make you check yourself. There's no doubt about that. And you know, if the time you spend, there's a decent chance you can make it up in that fight alone, just depending on what you find in the way of levels and gear.
Yeah, I was hoping to pull something like a high-level sword or something out of Evelyn Castle, but
yeah,
such luck.
That's the dream.
Once it got underground, though, everything just kind of kicked into gear and everything just literally fell into place. It was one thing after another, but wasted too much time getting down there, unfortunately.
You could have taken longer. Go back and watch the VOD, and you'll see the poorly drawn bees in the lower right-hand corner made a very strong bid to reject the seed. She went Moon, but it ended up being completely haunted. By the time
Moon was barren.
Wow, I had a feeling some people were going to try and make a Moon play there. I was thinking it was in my head. I just never got a team that I was comfortable enough doing it with, so I figured, well, let's do the underground instead, and then just everything was kind of there. That was the freest Fey March I've seen in a very long time.
there was no...
Yeah, that Fey March was so good. Right? 3 objectives from 1 visit to the Fey March. That's crazy.
But yeah, I liked the seed overall. I liked getting to put Tank Cecil into play. That's always fun. I'm a huge fan of Cecil, so anytime he gets to be the star is an okay seed with me.
Mm-hmm. It's nice to show off his defensive capabilities. People know the Crystal Sword, but the cover...
Not a lot of people know the Glass Helm cover strats.
Yeah, it works really well when you got a bunch of damage tiles right before the fight anyway.
Right. Although, there were cabins at some point, so even if you didn't have a Cecil there, it wasn't like you were gonna go in there with no HP on anybody.
Right, yeah.
It's just, you have a Cecil, and he's gonna cover everybody anyways, so why not?
I almost did it before then, and then I realized, wait a minute, everyone's at 1 HP. Let me just heal Cecil up, and we're good. Like,
yeah,
I've got an opportunity here.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, there was there was a very slow overworld followed by probably one of the freest underworlds I've seen in a long time. Was there anything else that you wanted to comment on about the run, or at least your experience with it, that, aside from like D-Mist?
Not too much. It was like I said, it was pretty straightforward. It was just kind of a challenge getting down there. I really like these kind of like more standard seeds where you don't have like Wildish or anything where something crazy can happen. It's a matter of execution and getting there, so it really kind of tests you. I really liked it. It was a really fun seed, and I was didn't finish as fast as I might have hoped, but I still think I played it decently well.
Yeah, everyone on stream finished sub 2 hours, so I think that's pretty good for a seed with a incredibly barren moon and the slowest overworld ever. So
Plus, I'm sure you all on the restream team are breathing a sigh of relief. We're not going past the 2-hour mark.
Yeah.
Right.
On a Monday night.
Oh man.
It is what it is.
Speaking of which, thanks you all for putting on the show tonight. Really appreciate it, and can't wait to go back and watch the VOD.
You put on the show. We just talk about it and crack wise.
Well, that's the important part. That's what everyone tunes in for.
That's you know what, you got a point there.
Well, thanks so much, y'all. Hope you have a good night, and appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Take care, man. You take care.
We're going to put the wraps on our Monday community race, but we're not going to put the wraps on free enterprise action. We're sending you all on a raid over to PMA K-File, who's working on a 2v2 race.
Oh, those are really fun to watch. And play, for that matter. So, you guys are in for a treat. As for us, though, we're gonna be logging off of this stream here tonight while you guys are raiding out to PMAC Fall. So everybody, have a safe night, have a nice night, and we will see you in the next race.
Thanks for being here to watch. Thanks for the commentary, Ilan. Thank you once again, Neobari, Paladin Aegis, for the restream and the tracking.
Yep, and thank you for commentating alongside me, Commander Leon Hart, and keeping me in check.
You didn't need much checking. It was good times.
It was